Yeah, so let's go on to the IMDb part of this review video. Our review videos are typically very long, so we have to cut down a lot of what we say.
They're fun. They're still just as funny, but it's just so long.
There's just really good, funny content that we have to cut out, and hopefully I can gather up some of the other content and just have like an IMDb extra kind of thing, bonus thing for you guys.
All right, anyways,
IMDb.
Right. Yep. Let's go. First one. This person rated it a 5 out of 10. Tim Jatraver.
An average movie.
Average movie. He
This
says
was an average movie?
it was fun, but characters are inconsistent. He says fun, funny, not the best. 2 was the best. No, it wasn't. It was the worst.
Did he say 2 was the best?
2 was the worst one. It was good, but 2 was like a 6.5. So he says they made some character choices that still have me baffled. Character consistency and integrity is the highest priority in any series. Let's see what he says about what was wrong in this. Let's just say that I can't figure out why certain characters made certain choices, or why they seem to know certain things, or why they reacted certain ways to certain events. Certainly. Certain things that certainly certained, and how they certainly certained to the stories certainly certain. So, we got some clear examples of what he didn't see.
He certainly didn't know how to
That's the whole review. That's the whole review.
Wait, that's it?
Certainly. First, this review just doesn't really tell you anything at all, even if it's going for a non-spoiler. You can non-spoiler that explanation. You can say, like, times a character would see an event and then not act on it, or stuff like that. He doesn't cover any of this, so I have no idea what he's talking about. I have absolutely none. Because I can't think of a certain event in a certain movie that certainly didn't make sense. I think he was watching a different movie because there isn't a character named Certain. So I thought, I'd go into his reviews and see, what he thought was good or bad. I was, I'm not going to say surprised because, especially after that Men in Black review, I found a few questionable things on feminism. Really hasn't rated a lot. He has I think 8 reviews on there, and 6 of them are about how a certain episode was too political and too feminist. And I gotta say, so this first one is Supergirl, and he says far too political. So openly and shamelessly politically biased, it's almost embarrassing. Now, I put this on here because I got a bone to pick with that logic, especially in comic-based shows and movies. Comics are political. They are. Captain America, that's blatantly political. X-Men is about minorities. Spider-Man's about altruism. So is Superman. There's political themes. Through Iron Man's about war profiteering. Superheroes are politically themed. A very vast majority of them are. Some more than others. So when people complain about something like Avengers being too political and being too feminist, and I'm like, dude, that's what a lot of these characters represent, is feminism. Captain Marvel, she represents feminism in the comics and everything. That's a big part of her character. Even the Wasp was a huge feminist character. Storm, a massive feminist character. So when people have these complaints about superhero stuff being too political, you're just mad that it's not your political. Don't get mad at the show for, following its base and following, what created it. There's that one. And that's not even it, because we can go on to this one. And this is an episode of The Flash. And a lot of you have not watched The Flash, or if you have, you probably stopped after 2 seasons because it got a little repetitive. But this is actually one of the later episodes I actually enjoyed. It follows kind of all the female characters in this universe, which is rare, not done before. And it kind of shows, their side of some sort of event. And
just for one episode.
For one episode. That is key here.
Out of 4 seasons.
I can stomach a lot of bias, but this is right out of the Gender Studies class project, which, by the way, I know he doesn't know a gender studies class project because he clearly has not taken gender studies. And maybe he should. Too much guys. Sorry, I mean girls. That's actually worse. You just made it worse. They're women and they could kick your ass. It kind of makes me think that maybe this review is a little low because Bo Peep had a bit of a badass character to her.
Oh, yeah.
So bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Next review is a 5 out of 10. It was a major letdown. And here's why.
We're going to get examples. Yay!
Hopefully because it's like a book written.
It is very, very long. So, starts off by saying, is one of the biggest Toy Story fans out there. Really is. Like, he, watches every movie. Huge fan of it, right? The particular moving nature of the third installment genuinely brought me to tears, as I'm sure it did with a lot of you all. It was good, but it's overblown. He has major concerns about the fourth movie's existence, but was willing to give it a shot, which, I mean, any fourth movie, people are going to be like, 4, that's a lot. Like, you're not unique for that. So he says it's not a bad movie, but it's not anything that'll sit in the hearts and minds of this generation for any longer than a brief passing moment, which I disagree with, but he gets into the kind of issues with it here, where he says it starts with the randomness of the plot. And he says there's too many themes to cover in one movie, and he names a few here. He says Forky getting home to Bonnie, Woody finding Bo, and Gabby finding an owner, or about something else entirely. Which, if you have to ask the question, maybe you didn't understand the movie as well as you thought you did. Maybe you should spend less time writing this long-ass essay and maybe go back and watch the movie again. And he said none of it's made particularly clear to the audience. Maybe you just weren't paying attention, because all those plots revolve around the same theme.
Yeah,
all those are about following your heart and finding your place in the world. Like, it's not, they're not different stories. They're all the same. That's kind of the point.
Maybe he's a artificial intelligence that has no emotion, so he can't really have a purpose.
I do not understand, human. Explain movie to me.
What is this decision that you are making?
What is love? So he says the beauty of the first 3 movies were that they had a clearly defined plot, which is really where I get issue with this review, because he says the first one was about...
The first one had a clearly defined main plot. I agree with that one. Not the second.
Well, the second, even if he has a point with the second, he makes it poorly, because he says that Toy Story 2 was about getting Woody back to Andy. I could easily interchange Woody and Andy with Forky and Bonnie. Easily.
Same story.
Yeah, same exact thing.
Just in a different way.
And then he says Toy Story 3 was about escaping the daycare center, which I could also interchange that with them escaping or getting Forky out of the antique shop. That was a majority of the movie.
Maybe he just doesn't like that there was more than one, even though they flowed so well together. But he just thinks
the second one covers the entire story. Like, it was all about getting Forky back to Bonnie until the very end, and then you're like, oh my god, there's a bigger message here at play.
Yeah.
Wow. And he says that they favored action sequences, which I did not get that impression coming out of the movie at all.
Toy Story 4 had so much story in it that there was no...
They were like walking places and experiencing emotional conflict, and it was just like, whoa, chill out, movie. I just want to see pretty pictures.
Too much action. Too much.
Whoa, man. And then he goes on to kind of...
Oh, it keeps going?
Yeah, it's super long.
I was joking about
He
the
spends
plot.
a lot of time writing a really bad review. It's kind of amazing.
I have not heard
Partially
one
impressive.
good example so far.
He said that it had too many writers, had 8 screenwriters, and that they all wrote out favorite characters such as Jesse, Rex, Ham, Bullseye, Slinky, and stuff, and they weren't given enough screen time, which...
He just complained about there being too many elements.
Yeah.
And if he wants everyone to have their own...
He wants more elements.
Yeah, he wants more story arc.
Do you want to put in more, or do you want to take away?
Yeah.
I
They're
guess-
kind of going back and forth on multiple things, and he even says, like, they had much better things to do in Toy Story 2, and 3 in particular, and again, he needs to rewatch Toy Story 2, because a lot of it was kind of like... There's a lot of toys left behind, and then a lot of it was just focusing on Woody meeting, Bullseye and Jesse. He says the movie needed to be more about Forky or Bo, not both.
Wait, but I thought he wanted to add Mr. Potato Head, Slinky.
No, he wants to add 5 more characters, though.
Wait.
Take away 1 and add 5, that's still less than 2, right?
A paragraph.
It's this many. But it wasn't really about Bo. It was about Woody. And I mean, this again, the story is the same. The story connects with each other. If you can't see that, you need to give up reviewing. Yeah. Like, he also says that they spent too long at the antique store, but didn't have an issue of how long they spent at the daycare or how long they spent at the toy store in Toy Story 2. Also says that Buzz is a shell of his former self. And I mean, while he's a little different, it's nothing out of his character. I would say he's a little more comedic in this than in other movies. Not a lot, but it's still all within his character. And I loved it. Buzz was he was definitely top 3 characters in this movie for me. I almost laughed like every time Buzz was on screen. And you want to talk about outer shell? Let's talk about Toy Story 3 when he literally gets turned into an outer shell, when he gets his mind wiped and he becomes like factory mode. That is exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. That's pretty much, I mean, that all flows with the character that he is in this movie. Yeah, I agree. But he has more in one, but this is not, again, not out of character.
Yeah.
It's in it, and he does have an arc. He does have a pretty important arc here. Finally, the final point he makes is that he wishes that they were in more actual danger and peril. Specifically, he says in the first few films, they're either getting incinerated, getting trapped on a plane in Japan, or torn apart by a crazy kid. He just really wants these toys to freaking die already! God! Woody literally, figuratively gave a part of himself to get Forky back for Bonnie. Freaking Sheep lost a leg. Bo Peep was losing arms left and right. Had to keep putting them back on.
Yeah, she was taping them on.
And that's just a weird request that you want like these toys to be in like a death situation more often. Relax.
It's not needed in there.
Tone it down.
Trust me, I love
You're up here.
dark stuff a lot, but this movie didn't need dark stuff.
I felt it was well balanced as well as Shazam could have done it, because there was some creepy, scary stuff in there, but I mean, there were like great humor.
Lighthearted moments.
Yeah, that helped him, and that's why Shazam was one of the best DC movies, and this is one of the best, Pixar movies.
Best Toy Story.
So,
the best Toy Story movie.
I don't know what he's trying to ask for. He wants all these characters, but he doesn't want any characters and just focused on one character.
Yeah, he's back and forth, flip-flopping. So he's basically a Dark Phoenix character. Got him! I will never let it go! Also, so I was like, clearly I need to go see more reviews of this person. This is the only review he has. So you'd think if he was that big of a Toy Story fan, he might review the other movies, right? No.
Nada.
Nope.
Zero.
This is it. If it wasn't under Toy Story, this next review, you would have no idea what it was from. Just imagine for a second we're not talking about Toy Story. Bad. I just don't like it because of the super boring characters and the recycled story that you don't even need.
What?
Which movie are they talking about?
You gotta put something in there to make it so that like I know that you've seen this movie. Because right now, I'm thinking no. You click on the wrong, like, what are you talking about? Tell me more. You can't just leave that. He also just doesn't even have a rating. He just says bad. I think I got what I needed from you.
Just follow our channel. We'll give you a better review on movies.
Yeah, quit doing these reviews and just watch us, man. Learn from the pros. Now for a nice and long one. Again.
I like how they have to explain themselves.
And they don't even
explain themselves.
They're like, all right, hear me out. A bunch of stupid stuff. Okay, you get it now?
So, this next one, 7 out of 10 by
Llama 434. Llama.
Yes. Lots of fun, but doesn't compare to the emotional trauma the third installment put me through.
Yeah. This one didn't hurt as much, so it's worse. I like pain. So he did not like the new character, Gabby Gabby. Said that there was something out of a rated R movie and was just so creepy. Yeah! It was awesome. It was a very, like, childlike creepiness, too. Yeah. They did it really well where they didn't actually make it R. Like, I don't know what R-rated movie you're watching. You would hate it. I thought Gabby Gabby was kind of a mirror for Woody. And in that moment, Woody saw redemption in her in the same way that he saw how he could possibly have redemption in himself, and how he didn't have to be the child's toy, and he could be something else, something that, was more fulfilling to him. And in that moment where she had her redemption, she had her moment where she went out and found that new kid and changed the kid's story from sad tragedy to a happy coincidence. It was just kind of that was the thing that really pushed Woody over the edge to really take that step at the end of the movie, and I think he's totally missing that. I know.
You're gonna make me cry
because it was freaking beautiful at the end. It was like, that's what I'm saying. It was the biggest surprise to me was the way they handled Gabby Gabby and used that as a mirror to put up to Woody, and really allowed Woody to really take that final big step in his character arc. And I don't think he would have been able to do it as gracefully without that story of Gabby Gabby. And I think he's totally missing that. I think a lot of these reviews kind of miss that. And that's kind of what we're trying to tell you guys. There's a lot more at play than just a simple story of toy get back to kid or kid.
Yeah, watch it again.
Toy. Yeah. If you didn't get it, you need to watch it again.
And keep watching it until you get it.
Yeah, get it in your head.
Because we obviously got it the first time. So keep up.
And we're morons.
Get good.
So disappointing that I left the theater upset.
I left the theater upset.
I wanted to see more.
Yeah, I was like, oh my god. No!
We were smiling the whole time. We were not upset. My cheeks were just like...
Yeah, they're stuck, dude. It was so fun.
I walk out of the theater.
Is this true?
I can't stop.
You massage my face for a second? Oh, okay.
Oh no! Oh crap! Somebody help me! I'm in so much pain.
Wait, is this correct?
Wait. So to start this off, I don't think that a fourth Toy Story was necessary in the first place. Well,
no movie is necessary. Name me one movie that needed to happen.
most all the second installment of any Disney movie.
Yeah. Mulan 2, you know what you did. Hold on. Hold the phone.
You're all...
No, I think this is...
The same one?
He might have copied the other person's review. He says Buzz seems kind of stupid in this movie and is kind of a shell of his original self. Yeah, this is a different person. He says, and then this other one, where is it?
It's down.
Is it down?
Yeah, Buzz is in the next one. Yeah.
Buzz is a shell of his former self.
We got him!
Dude!
We got him!
What the heck?
He copied the review! He's a piece of
He literally, that's too odd of a thing to say. And he's kind of saying the same thing. He said the same thing about the characters being missing. The favorites not being in it.
Maybe they
said Gabby was creepy
together. Maybe they're friends.
Dude, they said the same review. He clearly read. One of them read the other's review
Or
and then wrote theirs.
either that, or it's like it's a fake account and
he
he's
has
using
two?
two accounts and putting those reviews in.
Dude, that's the same freaking review, man. Come on, man. Are you kidding me? This movie is about independence. You need to learn from it. Giving it a 6. You don't even have an independent bone in your body. Get out of here. Get out of here. You can't think independently. And oh boy. Ooh boy, you're gonna talk about a movie that's creative as hell when you can't even create your own freaking paragraph about the movie you just saw? Are you serious? I don't even feel like going through. That's probably the same thing.
A 6 out of 10 is...
Oh, you know what else actually about this guy that kind of supports our theory that it's the same person?
Oh, what's going on?
No other reviews. You know when he started his account? A week ago. Got him.
Wow. A lot of heat going on over here.
Secret dad.
Perfect.